Here now, Todd Gilbert, Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates. Todd, welcome to Faith Nation, and congratulations on your newly elected role. Let's start with Governor Youngkin. He focused his campaign on kitchen table issues. Getting rid of that grocery tax could be a big help with soaring inflation across the country. How much buy-in, though, do you have from Democrats in the House of Delegates for policies Youngkin promised on the campaign trail?
Well, they were noticeably quiet on a number of issues during his speech the other night, his introduction to the House and the Senate. They could not bring themselves to applaud for things like getting rid of taxes on groceries, things like the Constitution, fallen officers even. They couldn't bring themselves to applaud for those things. So the buy-in is going to be difficult. This is an issue that outgoing Governor Northam put in his budget, elimination of the grocery tax. So whether we can cross the aisle to work on this thing that looks like it's going to be very helpful to every single family in Virginia, that all remains to be seen.
You hinted at this. A lot of voters in November were mobilized around issues like education. How important is the school issue in Virginia, and what kind of legislation are you and the House of Delegates and lawmakers with you exploring?
It's so important, and I think we've reached a moment that we never could have foreseen, where Republicans all of a sudden found themselves with the advantage on an issue like public education. So we are looking to make good on our promises and make good on the higher profile that this has. We never could have envisioned an opportunity to message on an issue like school choice that unfortunately this pandemic has provided, because all of a sudden, you know, folks who love their local school, their local school system, found themselves in a position where they weren't able to send their children there against their will. And so all of a sudden eyes have been opened and hearts are opened to new opportunities, and we look forward to those opportunities, to engaging in more opportunities for choice, for innovation in education.
A big day this past Saturday for Virginians, but in Richmond. I saw you there at the swearing in. You know, the governor's inaugural speech called on Virginians from both parties to put differences aside. How do you expect the governor and his administration, and for your part, lawmakers, to unite Virginians in such a divisive political climate?
You know, Governor Youngkin has spent untold hours prior to taking office trying to start and then build relationships, not only with Republican lawmakers, but across the aisle. I really believe him when he says he wants to foster ideas that transcend politics and partisanship, and he wants to reach across the aisle. He had a bold new vision that he laid out for Virginia and Virginians, and it's going to involve working across the aisle to do that.
But as Virginia's newly installed House Speaker, what are going to be your top priorities in the Commonwealth's General Assembly, given that you are trying to run things in divided government?
Well, it may sound like a broken record, but you know, we ran on those things too, not just Governor Youngkin. We ran on giving our kids better opportunities in school. We ran on lowering the cost of living, the cost of energy, the cost of goods. We ran on making our communities safer in the wake of our Democratic colleagues having really an entire session or two trying to make criminals out to be the victims and the police out to be the bad guys. We aim to turn that ship around and try to be more responsive to what people want, to what they need, and to have a Virginia that people can live, work, and raise a family more effectively and efficiently and happily, ultimately, and that's what we intend to do.
Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates, Todd Gilbert, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, John.